I remember once crocheting some egg covers for my in-laws. It was a crocheted hat.
What colour were they?
White with a little beak, and I poured my creativity in them, but on reflection they were actually quite hideous.
So what are you doing, Cathy?
What I'm cooking today is spiced Christmas nuts.
Oh!
They make great gifts. Basically it's blanched, in this case peanuts, but you can use all sorts of nuts.
Right.
Bit of egg white, bit of yolk and sugar and some spices, mix it all together.
Wow. So do you find gift giving a bit stressful?
I do and I don't. I love thinking about the person and the gift that I want to give them. Then I think about the budget, and then I think about the time shopping for, you know, where do I find it and all that sort of stuff. So that's the stressful bit. But I think what gives me great joy is to think about the person, who they are, what they like, anticipating a surprise and go on their face.
No, so what time of the year do you start thinking about this or planning all this?
Well, sometimes earlier in the year, like June or July,
Really?
I see something and I think, oh, that'll be good for so-and-so. Here we are.
Have you ever had a season of DIY gifts? Like making them yourself?
Yes, I have. I remember once crocheting some egg covers for my in-laws. I poured my heart and soul into them.
An egg cover?
You know, for egg, your boiled egg, a little thing.
It
was a crocheted hat.
What colour were they?
White with a little beak, and I poured my creativity in them, but on reflection they were actually quite hideous. So
I went through a season of doing DIY when I think I just had one child at that point. So it was so much more economical, you know, and I got a lot of pleasure out of that. One year I made these like placemats that were like made out of gingham and fabric, and then I padded them with a bit of Dacron in them and sewed some bias binding around the edges, and you know, I felt really thrilled, you know, that I'd actually created these things, and then it seemed to get a good reaction. I don't know if people thought, oh yay, placemats or what, but there's something nice about knowing that you've put in some time and effort, you know, that it actually cost you something, you know, in terms of your own time and thought, rather than always just buying stuff from the shop, you know.
Yeah, it's very satisfying.
I guess baking's a bit like that, isn't it? When you bake and you give it away, there's a nice feeling that you've invested yourself into the gift, into what you're passing on. So do your family have lists, or like do your kids say we want this and this, or mum can you get that, or is it more
no, we don't actually. It's not ever been a said aloud thing, but I kind of grew up with, you know, it's a gift you get handed, and it is a gift from that person. And kind of, you know, as you mature, you realise this I want and this is what I'd like. And you just don't go there, which that's been the kind of thing for us.
How important is that now? You know, just even trying to model that for grandchildren. You know, that it's not all about how amazing, or if it's the latest fad or whatever. How do you do that?
I mean, there is a great joy in, you know, when you have been wanting a gift and you do get it. It is thrilling, and it's not that I'll say, what do you want for Christmas? That's for me a bit too crude. But I will hopefully have just kind of noticed throughout the year what the desire is, and, you know, where appropriate, kind of tap into that. But I don't know about you, but as the family grows, it gets complicated. I remember one Christmas, it was all my siblings and we were all at my parents' and all the grandchildren, and my sister had been frantically getting presents that suited her budget for, you know, we were at that stage giving to everyone. And we both thought, this is horrible. We were stressed trying to get all the presents. And it's just rip and go. And so we decided, as we came together as an extended family, to have a Christmas concert, so our gift to everyone was an item.
Wonderful.
So, and that still goes on today, when like 30, 40 years later.
So was that like a musical item or a song
anything.
or a skit? Or...
I remember my brother reading a very long, what the grandchildren thought boring poem, but we all sat there, that was his gift. Yeah, you know, and then there's nativity and
that's a lovely idea.
some sang, but it's a lot of fun. So
it sort of comes a tipping point, doesn't there, where there's the number increases and it's almost like, how do we do this now, because it does get expensive, doesn't it?
Yeah. So what do you got? I mean, your family's grown too.
Yeah. So what we've done for maybe the last 2 or 3 years is op shop presents.
Oh,
well, not just op shop, but pre-loved.
Yeah.
Pre-loved gifts.
Okay.
So, I mean, the younger ones will look on Marketplace or Trade Me or that, and it's kind of good for the environment. It's good to recycle things, and it's good to get a bargain, and it's good that it fits into everybody's budget. So it's just a lot of fun. I mean, a lot of the members of our family are keen op shoppers. So for them, it's, you know, I'm not so keen, but I have, I've embraced it.
You're not so fussed.
I'm not so keen on the op shopping. I love the concept because I think it's really good. Like sometimes the children have such high expectations. I know one of my grandsons wanted a ride-on car. It's like, and like they've got this perception that, you know, we can buy anything. We're like, you know, like it's just, you know, your grandparents are just like, and I remember thinking, okay, you know, like just wild kind of expectations. And then I get concerned that when they open it up on the day, it's like,
right.
You know, and I really find that difficult.
Granny gave me a jersey.
A new backpack for school. So like try to deal with expectations, you know, and try to lower the whole thing, that it's not about this amazing gift. And I guess they're bombarded all the time, aren't they, with television and advertisements and all that of all the latest fad, and you know, and trying to juggle those expectations and turn it around that it's a fun thing. It's not necessarily, you know, how
do you kind of temper it down?
Yeah, we do talk with the parents to see if there's something they actually need. But I know some people have said you get something you need and a toy and something that's food or money. So just last year actually we decided to have a theme for all the grandchildren. So basically they all got a similar present. And
that's clever.
Yeah, so it was actually, the theme was or what we got them was they all got a drink bottle. Yeah. And then sellotape around the outside was $20. And then in the drink bottle was a whole variety of things. So of course there were lollies and hair ties for the girls and you know, just little bits and pieces. And it seemed to work really well because they liked the fact that they all had the same thing and they were comparing, this and I've got that. So
it's a great idea.
Hopefully we've started a trend, you know, because also it gets really expensive, eh?
It does. And the other thing I've found too is especially with extended family, if you get two sides giving to children, and you know the pile can get like that. And I have a little tradition which my mother did for my children, a kind of Dutch thing, that a chocolate letter of their name. So,
probably helps the expectations, you know.
Yeah.
It kind of comes back to what your love language is, isn't it? Because some people, their love language is gifts and giving.
Yeah, that's true actually, and to respect that.
Yeah, and others it's quality time, you know, or words of affirmation, you know, and all of us respond differently to how we receive gifts, don't we? In terms of what our kind of love language is. I know one year, one member of our family who was overseas bought each of the family an experience. So one of them, like it was a year pass to the zoo. So they could just go, you know, and that was such a great family gift, and not something that family would have bought for themselves, you know. And another one was like a day at Rainbow's End, or just any kind of an experience, you know.
Yeah, like I'm trying to declutter and downsize. Sometimes I say, look, nothing, but Mum, come on. I think, a coffee voucher would be nice. Coffee voucher. It's like, it's to sit in a cafe and sip a coffee. It'd be lovely. Just now, this needs to be stirred, and like every 5-10 minutes. Don't put it on fan bake. The first time I made this, I made the mistake of fan bake.
Is it time sensitive in terms of them burning?
Yeah, I'd probably every 5 or 10 minutes give it a stir.
Going back to that, like to the gift giving, like your children asking you, I kind of think it's important that they are still buying for us. Do you know what I mean? Not in a I need stuff kind of a way, but just in a modelling way. You know, that we want to still honour the older generation. You know, so we will still buy presents for our parents. I remember taking my grandchildren shopping one time to an op shop, and I said, right, you've got so much money, I want you to go and buy something for mum and dad. And they were like, they were like, oh, we thought this was going to be about us. I said, no, you know, it's important, you know. I think they were staying with us for the weekend, and I said, like, you're going to take a present home for your parents. And it like just totally turned but then they really got into it. And one of them was just so thoughtful, wandered around the shop and knew exactly what his dad would want, you know. And he bought great gifts, you know.
And he would have got a real buzz out of that.
And I kind of feel that's important, you know, that it's not just always about them, you know. They can be the gift givers as well, you know, to their parents or their grandparents or even their siblings. I think that's the hardest one.
Because one of the things I love is, especially when the children are really little, just drawings from the children. You know, it's such a precious thing. The back of my toilet's covered in toddler drawings, and you know, they're busy colouring in, and Oma, O-M-A, all big writing,
lovely.
and it's again really that, nice. Like you say, that teaching them to think outside of themselves, and they get great joy from it.
Yeah, they do.
So here are the nuts.
How did you get them so even? They're amazing.
Yeah, just the continual stirring, but then you leave it overnight and it kind of the flavours set in, and then the next day it's like, not bad. They're cheaper to make than buy, and you can package them up in little bags or something, or maybe a container from the op shop. So here we are, Alison, one for you.
Thank you.
Happy Christmas.
Oh, that's so lovely. Thank you. Oh my goodness, it's too nice to open.
Yeah, no, just look at it.
Spiced nuts, is that just what it's called?
Spice Christmas nuts. You'll find the recipe in the Star Christmas book, so check that out, star.net.nz. Thanks so much for joining us.